She washed his clothes when he had only 2 shirts. She cooked his meals when he could only afford instant noodles. She sold her mother's gold necklace to pay for his music studio registration. She waited while he climbed to fame in the city. Then one day, he returned with a different woman. Red lipstick, straight Brazilian hair, designer bag, Lagos accent. The woman looked at IFRA's village musician and laughed. Village rat, she called her. This is the story of 2 women fighting for one man. They call it village versus city. But really, it's real versus fake. To understand this war, we must go back 2 years, to when Dara was nothing, and Lika was everything. 2 years ago, Dara lived in a one-room shack with a tin roof that leaked when it rained. The walls were cracked, the floor dusty, his possessions barely a mat, 2 faded shirts, a patched trouser, and dreams bigger than the entire village of Okoma. I will build houses, he told anyone who would listen. Not these mud huts, real concrete houses, glass and lecky. The village boys laughed. Dara the dreamer, you can't even build your own future, yet you want to build houses? Everyone laughed, everyone except Lika. Lika, the farmer's daughter, skin like polished mahogany, smile like the sun breaking through storm clouds. She wore simple wrappers, no makeup, no Brazilian hair, just natural beauty and a heart of gold. She believed in him. Every morning at 5, before going to her father's farm, Lika brought Dara breakfast. Akamu and akara wrapped in banana leaves. Eat, she'd say. A hungry man cannot build an empire. Every evening, she washed his 2 shirts by the river, scrubbing until her knuckles burned. When Dara's music business plan was rejected by the bank, and he sat under the mango tree, crying like a child, Lika sat beside him. God has not forgotten you, she whispered. Your time is coming. The village women gossiped. That girl is wasting her time. Dara will never amount to anything. But Lika's love wasn't built on what Dara was. It was built on who he could become. Then came the day that changed everything. Dara needed 200,000 naira to register his music studio in Lagos. 200,000 naira might as well have been 2 million. He had nothing. No collateral, no connections, no hope. That night, Lika approached him, holding a small cloth bag. Inside was her mother's gold necklace, the only valuable thing her family owned. The necklace her grandmother had given her mother had given to her. Take it, she said simply. No, this is your inheritance, Dara protested. My mother wanted me to be happy, Lika said. You are my happiness. Your success is my success. Take it. Dara fell to his knees, tears streaming. When I succeed, I swear on my father's grave, you will wear the finest wrapper at our wedding. You will never lack anything. I promise you, Lika. She smiled that sunrise smile. I don't need the finest wrapper. I just need you to remember this moment when you become a big man. 2 weeks later, he left for Lagos. The whole village gathered to see him off. His mother, Mama Kechi, held Lika's hand. Thank you for believing in my son when no one else did. You are the wife I prayed for him. Lika watched the bus disappear down the red earth road, hand on her heart, faith unshaken. He promised to return in 6 months for the wedding. But Lagos had other plans. The first year was hell. Dara slept in a room with 5 other men chasing the same dream. The heat was unbearable. The noise never stopped. The city smelled of sweat, exhaust fumes, and broken promises. But Dara was hungry. He worked construction sites by day, studied music business by night, ate 1 meal daily, saved every kobo. When he wanted to give up, he would touch his pocket where he kept Lika's photo. Every Sunday, he called her from a call center. How is the village? He asked. The village is the village, she would laugh. How is my future music mogul? Soon, he promised. Soon I will send for you. After 14 months of struggle, everything changed. A wealthy contractor gave him his first contract, then another, then 5 more. The company was finally building real studios. Money started flowing, not rivers, but streams enough to move out of the slum. Dara rented a decent apartment in Lekki, bought clothes at Balagan Market, and he used Toyota Corolla that made him feel like a king. But something else changed. His new friends, young men making money in Lagos, saw his phone wallpaper. Lika's simple village smile, natural hair. Upgrade, one friend said. This is Lagos. You need someone who matches your status. Slowly, the poison crept in. Calls to Lika became shorter. Busy, I'll call later. He stopped asking about the wedding date. When she asked, let's stabilize the business first. It had been over a year. The village whispered, Dara has forgotten Lika. City life has changed him. Lika defended him with tears. He's just busy. But Mama Kechi knew better. My son's voice has changed. I hear shame in it now. Then came the night that sealed Dara's fate. His company was celebrating a big contract at a lounge in Victoria Island. Expensive drinks, loud music, women in dresses that cost more than village weddings. That's when Sonia walked in. She was magnificent, like a cobra before it strikes. Caramel skin polished to perfection. Brazilian hair flowing down her back like a waterfall. Red dress hugging curves that defied physics. Makeup flawless, confidence lethal. She was with corporate friends laughing the Lagos laugh that sounds like money. You're Dara Okoro, right? The musician everyone talks about? She asked. His heart hammered. A woman like this knew his name. Yes, he said. That's me, Dara. She extended her hand. I work at Zenith Bank. We reviewed your company profile. Very impressive rise, darling. The way she said darling made Dara's village origins feel like disease. They talked for hours. She laughed at his jokes, touched his arm, smelled like ambition. When she asked about his background, he lied. I come from a decent Lagos family. Went to university there. The village erased. Lika erased. Poverty erased. Their first date was at Ocean Basket in Lekki. Dara nearly fainted at the bill, 75,000 naira for seafood. Sonia ordered wine like Satch water. You're different from Lagos guys, she purred. They talk. You do. More dates followed. Expensive restaurants, movie premieres, nightclubs with bottles costing months of village income. Sonia's Instagram followers noticed. Who's this fine contractor? Meanwhile, in Okoma village, Lika woke with nausea and dizziness. The herbalist examined her with knowing eyes. You are carrying life, he said. For months. Her hand flew to her belly. Dara's last visit home had been 6 months ago. That quick weekend when he seemed distracted. When joy flooded her, she realized. A baby, their baby. She called that evening. Rang and rang. He was in his apartment with Sonia, legs across his lap, hand on her chest. Who's calling so much? Sonia asked. Nobody important, he said. But she noticed the name flashing. Lika my heart, who is this? Her voice cold. An old friend from home. When are we making us official? Or are you ashamed of me? Ashamed? No. I just choose or lose me. The ultimatum hung like a noose. Lika stared at her phone for 3 days. Dara hadn't returned calls. The village herbalist's words echoed. She touched her belly. Mama Kechi found her crying by the river. He won't answer, Mama. The older woman's face was stone. Then go to him. A woman doesn't announce pregnancy by phone. You must look in his eyes. Lika had never been to Lagos. The city terrified her with crime, madness, people who forgot home. But her baby needed a father. She borrowed money, wore her best wrapper, the blue one with gold threading, no makeup, just palm oil, braided her natural hair. 8-hour journey. Lagos assaulted her senses. Noise, traffic, people rushing as if fleeing death. Tall buildings mocked the sky. She found his office address from an old text. I'm looking for Dara Okoro, she told the receptionist. The girl looked at Lika's wrapper with contempt. Is he expecting you? I'm his fiancée. 30 minutes later, she was directed to his apartment. The complex in Lekki shocked her. Swimming pool, security guards. She climbed to the 3rd floor, heart pounding, knocked. Standing there, silk robe costing more than Lika's wardrobe, was Sonia. Brazilian hair, magazine-perfect makeup, long red nails. Who are you? The maid asked before Lika could speak. Dara appeared behind her, shirtless, face pale. Lika, Sonia spun. Village girlfriend. Acid words. Lika found her voice, village dignity rising. I am Lika, the woman who believed in him when he had nothing. The woman who sold her mother's gold so he could have this life. The woman still waiting for the wedding he promised. Sonia laughed, cruel and sharp. Sweetie, look at yourself. Then look at me. Lagos, not the village. We do Gucci, glamour. Who do you think wins? Dara's body froze. Every word from Sonia slicing like a machete. Village rat. That was what she called Lika. And he had stayed silent. He had let her insult the woman who bled for him, who sacrificed for him, who believed in him when the world laughed. Lika's chest rose slowly as she adjusted the baby bump, only he didn't know yet. I am carrying your child, she said softly, voice calm but unwavering. For months. Our child. Real, not a lie. Dara's knees threatened to buckle. His heart hammered in disbelief. The room spun. He had nothing to say. Sonia stepped forward, heels clicking, perfume suffocating. Wait, you're pregnant? That changes nothing. Your village. I don't do villages. I don't share. Lagos is about power, status, image. You have to choose. Me or her. Her tone was venom wrapped in silk. Dara's mouth opened, closed. He wanted to speak, but his words were caught in shame. All the lies, all the betrayals, all the compromises he had made for convenience flashed across his mind. Lika's eyes, steady and unafraid, met his. I came to tell you, not to ask for your permission. I came to inform you that you are going to be a father. You can step up or step aside, but don't expect me to kneel before you anymore. Don't expect me to beg. Every syllable dripped dignity. Dara's chest tightened. He could barely breathe. His mind, sharpened by years of city survival, scrambled desperately. How had it come to this? Sonia laughed, a sound cruel and polished. Darling, you thought you were clever, hiding me from your village girl. But secrets never last. I'm here now, and I play for keeps. She leaned closer. You've changed. You are a Lagos man now. You need someone who understands wealth, sophistication, influence. She gestured to her hair, her dress, her manicured perfection. I am her. I am the upgrade. The room seemed smaller now. Lika's small wrapper, her braided hair, the simplicity of her existence, it all seemed to mock him. Not with malice, but with truth. The truth he had ignored. The truth he had abandoned. And the child inside her, the living proof of their shared sacrifice and love, was a mirror reflecting his cowardice. Dara's mind screamed. He had wanted to rise, to escape poverty, to taste success. But in chasing glitter, he had trampled gold. Dara, Lika continued, voice soft but resolute. You can be part of your child's life. You can provide, visit, love. But do not expect me to forget. Do not expect me to trust easily. You chose silence when she called me village rat. That silence defined who you are now. Dara's hands shook. He wanted to reach out, to apologize, to beg. He had no plan, no argument, no defense. His world had crumbled from the inside out. Sonia stepped back, sensing the shift. Her perfect smile faltered. What nonsense is this? You're overreacting. A little city life, a little ambition, and suddenly you decide morality? You're still clinging to your village girl. Dara turned to her, fury finally rising. Nonsense. His voice trembled with rage and shame. You lied to me. The pregnancy was fake. All the gifts, all the promises, they were tools. Tools to trap me. I am not your mark anymore. Sonia's eyes narrowed, disbelief mixing with anger. You think you're clever? You're still my husband. I can ruin you. Dara's legs wobbled, but Lika's gaze held him steady. You want to ruin me? Try. But I am not afraid. My child, my family, my integrity, these cannot be taken by lies or gold-plated illusions. I am the proof of your failures, Dara, and of your responsibilities. His chest constricted, tears pricking at the corners of his eyes. He had spent years running toward a dream, toward a life, only to realize the foundation he had built it on, trust, love, loyalty, had been discarded. Sonia's tone sharpened, the mask of civility cracking. Fine. No baby. No village girl. But I will not lose. You will sign the papers. 2 million naira. Or your reputation will be destroyed. Her words were precise, calculated, predatory. Dara's mind raced. He had been careful in Lagos, measured in his decisions, but Sonia had anticipated every move, outsmarted him at every turn. And yet, in the silence of Lika's dignity, he recognized what real power was. Not manipulation, not money, not image, but steadfastness, loyalty, and courage. He could see it in her eyes, the same eyes that had comforted him under the mango tree, that had never wavered when the village mocked him, that had offered her mother's gold without hesitation. Dara's knees buckled. I can't, his voice cracked. Words failed him. The enormity of his mistakes pressed against his chest, suffocating him. Lika's calm presence became a lighthouse amid the storm of his failures. I came to tell you the truth, Lika said, stepping forward. Not to plead, not to fight. You have made your choices. You chased status, flattered your ego, ignored your promises. But my life, and our child, will continue. With or without you. Dara's head bowed. Every pride, every ambition, every lie he had built his city life on came crashing down. Lika's hand gently rested on her belly. This is your child, Dara. Our child. The only real thing you ever had. Sonia, realizing the moral high ground had shifted, took a step back. Her carefully curated confidence faltered. Dara's phone buzzed. An email from his largest client. Termination. Another. Termination. His reputation in Lagos, meticulously built, began collapsing with the precision of a house of cards. He turned to Sonia. Everything you built, everything you manipulated, it's collapsing. And for what? Sonia's smirk wavered, fear creeping in. Dara's eyes shifted to Lika. His knees hit the floor. I failed you. I failed us. I failed my child. Lika's voice softened, carrying both grief and power. You failed yourself. You traded real love for glitter, ambition for flattery. That is the truth. But I forgive, not for you, but for me. Because holding hatred only poisons the carrier. You will know our child, but redemption is earned, not demanded. Dara's hands shook, reaching out instinctively. Lika did not withdraw, but her gaze remained firm. This was the new law of their relationship, boundaries defined by dignity. Days passed. Dara rented a small room, the kind he had once fled, surrounded by red dust and the echo of village life. He started over, small construction projects, village houses, community builds. Every brick laid was an apology, a promise, a step toward earning back trust. Every visit to the village, he carried modest gifts, offered help, and embraced responsibility he had once abandoned. Lika allowed him near the baby, allowed him to learn fatherhood without mercy or shortcuts. Dara understood, finally, that true power was not Lagos, not money, not fame. It was respect, integrity, and sacrifice. Meanwhile, Sonia's empire crumbled swiftly. Chief Akin discovered discrepancies in her accounts, forged signatures, credit card fraud. She had used him to elevate her status, always seeking the next richer target. Arrests, lawsuits, Instagram followers turned on her, the glamorous photos revealed as rented and filtered illusions. She was alone, broke, infamous, the cautionary tale of greed and deceit in Lagos. Lika, in contrast, thrived quietly. The village women supported her tailoring business. They sold clothes, repaired houses, cultivated the community. She prospered modestly, but with dignity, respect, and purpose. Her child, named after Dara's late father, Obinna, grew strong, healthy, loved. The village whispered blessings, not gossip. The life she built was small in material terms, but immense in legacy, love, and authenticity. Dara stared at his son for the first time, cradling him in his arms, tears staining his shirt. Obinna's tiny fingers curled around his own, perfect miniature of the man he once was, and had failed to be. Lika watched silently, a mother's heart steady, her gaze unwavering. He is your son, she said quietly. But the man you were, that man is gone. You can only move forward, not undo the past. Every visit reminded him of the truth. Love cannot be bought, loyalty cannot be forced, sacrifice cannot be ignored. Every misstep in Lagos had been a lesson carved into his soul. Real wealth, he learned, was measured not in naira but in trust, integrity, and devotion. He could rebuild, yes, but only through service, patience, and respect for what had been given freely, not manipulated. Lika never asked for more than what was rightfully hers and theirs. She never demanded lavish gifts, no expensive trips, no designer labels. She demanded respect. She demanded honesty. And she demanded the recognition of what she had done for him before the city seduced him with glamour. Dara, humbled and chastened, finally understood. Gratitude, not ambition, is the foundation of all enduring success. Village and city, they were never the question. It was real versus fake. Lika wore a simple wrapper, bore her child, sacrificed, waited, and carried dignity. Sonia wore designer labels, smiled for cameras, manipulated, lied, and destroyed. The outcome was inevitable. The city could give wealth, influence, and power, but not respect, not loyalty, not real love. Dara had learned this the hardest way possible. He stayed in the village, not in Mama Kechi's house. He earned the right to be near his son. He built, sweat, and worked to restore his reputation, slowly, deliberately, humbly. He carried the shame, but also the lesson. Real love cannot be traded. Real sacrifice cannot be ignored. He watched Lika nurture their child, their community, their life. And he understood that he had been given a second chance, not to reclaim her heart, but to witness the rewards of devotion he had once abandoned. And in the quiet of Okoma village, Dara realized the truth. You may lose glitter, lose fame, lose Lagos, lose everything. But if you abandon the gold you were given when you were nothing, it will never forgive you. Lika, simple, real, unwavering, had endured, and in doing so had built a life that the city could never destroy. Months passed. Dara woke each day in the small room he rented on the red dust streets of Okoma village. No pool, no security guards, no glass towers mocking the sky. Just earth, sweat, and work. The contracts were small: mud houses, fence repairs, farm sheds. But each brick laid was a lesson, each nail hammered a penance. He carried the weight of Lagos on his shoulders. Contracts lost, friends who mocked him, the shame of choosing glitter over gold. Every dawn reminded him that ambition without gratitude was a hollow pursuit. Lika moved through her days like sunlight breaking through clouds. Her baby, Obina, was growing fast, strong limbs, bright eyes, the same curiosity in his gaze that Dara had once carried as a boy dreaming of concrete houses. Lika's tailoring business began slowly. She stitched wrappers, repaired clothes, made children's uniforms. The village women brought her orders, supported her in ways only a community could. Despite limited means, she thrived with dignity. She never complained about the city, the money Dara lost, or the man who had abandoned her. Her life was hers, built with hands, heart, and integrity. Dara watched from a distance at first. Every day, he took small steps, repairing fences, building mud kitchens, helping with farm work. Lika allowed him access to his son, carefully controlled, measured. Dara held Obina and felt a mixture of awe, guilt, and hope. The boy was his blood, his legacy, the living proof of mistakes made and lessons learned. Each smile Obina gave him was a mirror of what Dara had lost when he had chased Sonia's illusions. Each giggle reminded him that wealth and glamour could never replace real love. One afternoon, Lika's mother, Mama Inechi, called Dara over. Her eyes, sharp with wisdom, softened only slightly. Dara, she said, voice low but firm, you have seen your mistakes. Now you must see your son grow. You can help, you can provide, but the woman who bore him is not your test subject. Do you understand? Dara nodded, swallowing hard. Yes, Mama. I understand. I will earn my place. She let him hold Obina while Lika watched. No gratitude asked, no forgiveness demanded, just observation, silent judgment, and trust given only in time. Dara's days fell into rhythm. Work in the village, care for Obina, visits to Lika's small tailoring shop. His city ego melted under the sun, under the dust, under the hard rhythm of honest labor. He learned to ask for help, to respect boundaries, to honor the sacrifices that had built his child's life long before he returned. Slowly, the villagers noticed the change. The big man who had left for Lagos humbled, now building houses and lives in the village he once scorned. Children pointed, women whispered, men nodded in respect. Dara earned redemption not with words, but deeds. Meanwhile, Lagos offered no comfort. Sonia's fall was catastrophic. Chief Akin pressed charges for fraud. Her social media empire crumbled. Followers turned against her when the truth emerged. Fake pregnancy, stolen wealth, lies layered upon lies. Luxury photos revealed as rented locations, designer outfits borrowed, filtered beyond recognition. Alone, broke, and infamous, Sonia became a cautionary tale. Her Instagram followers mocked her downfall. Sis upgraded, then busted. One post read. Dara watched from the village, silent, knowing that the world she thrived on had rejected her. But no joy came from her failure. Only reflection. Obina grew, a constant reminder of what Dara had abandoned and what Lika had preserved. Dara woke one morning to find Lika in the courtyard, teaching Obina to fetch water from the well. He paused, watching the sun glint off her dark skin, her simple wrapper moving fluidly as she balanced the pail on her head. She looked up, met his gaze, nodded slightly. Respectful acknowledgement, nothing more. Dara approached cautiously. Can I help? She asked, voice neutral. If you want to, she said. And so he learned again, not to command, not to own, but to assist, to contribute, to support. Village life taught Dara patience, humility, and focus. Contracts began trickling in from nearby towns, modest but steady. He worked with integrity, honoring payments, timelines, and promises. Slowly, his reputation rebuilt. Yet he never forgot Lika's words. Real love, real loyalty, and sacrifice cannot be bought or coerced. Obinna, thriving and vibrant, was the living testament to that principle. Each day Dara spent with him, he understood that fatherhood was not a title. It was action, presence, and responsibility. One evening, while Lika prepared dinner, Dara approached her. He spoke softly, careful not to overstep. Lika, I am trying. I am trying to be the man I should have been. Not for me. Not for Lagos. For Obinna. For you. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I will not give up on being present. On being responsible. Lika paused, hands on the chopping board. Her eyes, steady and unflinching, met his. I never needed you to survive, Dara. Obinna and I thrive because we have each other, our community, and integrity. But presence is earned, not demanded. Actions, not words, will measure your worth. Dara nodded. Her standards were high, unyielding, and fair. Time passed. Seasons changed. Dara built houses for the villagers, repaired wells, and helped with harvests. Obinna learned alongside him, playing among bricks and tools, laughing under the sun, learning lessons Dara had missed in his youth. Village elders watched Dara's transformation with quiet approval. No words of praise were given lightly. Lika observed with measured trust, allowing the father access in increments, ensuring the child's environment remained stable and secure. Each smile from Obinna, each acknowledgement from Lika, strengthened Dara's resolve. Dara's pride in Lagos faded, replaced by a different kind of fulfillment. No glamorous parties, no high-rise offices, no Instagram fame. Just the simple, grounding satisfaction of work done, promises kept, and life built with integrity. Lika remained a constant, unwavering presence, never flaunting power, never seeking recognition, only existing with purpose. Dara understood at last that real success was relational, not transactional. It was about the people who believed in you when the world mocked you, not the accolades that vanish overnight. One afternoon, Mama Kechi visited. Her eyes scanned Dara critically. You have returned, she said, voice heavy with judgment and wisdom. But this time, I see effort, humility, and respect. Not all men learn from failure. You are lucky she has not cast you aside entirely. Dara bowed his head. I am learning, Mama. I have lost much. I hope to rebuild trust, piece by piece. Mama Kechi nodded, approvingly but cautiously. Then begin. Remember, the village remembers deeds, not words. Do not squander this second chance. Obinna, ever perceptive, tugged at Dara's shirt one day. Papa, will you play with me? The innocence, the simplicity of the request, pierced Dara's heart. He dropped to the ground, lifted the boy into his arms, and they ran through the courtyard, laughter echoing. Lika watched, a small smile breaking her otherwise composed expression. Dara realized then that redemption was not grand gestures, but daily presence, patience, and humility. Every laugh, every scraped knee bandaged, every shared meal was a brick in the house of trust he was now rebuilding. Months became years. Dara's small construction company expanded modestly, serving neighboring villages. His reputation, once tarnished, became synonymous with honesty and reliability. Lagos contacts remained distant, a faded shadow of ambition and illusions. Obinna grew into a healthy, curious boy, learning the village's values and the importance of hard work, respect, and love. Lika remained steadfast, her life built on principles Dara once ignored, now understood. One evening, as the sun sank behind the hills, Dara sat with Lika and Obinna under the old mango tree. Silence stretched, comfortable, filled with the unspoken understanding of shared history, hard-won trust, and lessons etched deeply. Dara spoke quietly. I will never forget the sacrifices you made, Lika. I will honor them in every decision I make. Lika placed her hand on Obinna's shoulder. Then let your actions speak, Dara. For him, for me, for the community that raised us both. Dara finally understood. Village versus city was never about location. It was about values. Glitter could seduce, but it could not sustain. Glamour could dazzle, but it could not nurture. Real love, real sacrifice, and real loyalty were treasures beyond price. Lika had taught him, through her endurance, integrity, and dignity, that true wealth lies not in what you possess, but in what you preserve, protect, and honor. As night fell, lanterns glowing softly in the village, Dara held Obina close. He watched Lika prepare for the evening chores, graceful in simplicity, unwavering in strength. Every misstep, every betrayal, every lost contract in Lagos had led him here, to humility, to presence, to understanding. He could no longer reclaim the past, could no longer erase mistakes, but he could live with dignity, honor obligations, and build a legacy grounded in truth. Dara had money once, status once, ambition once, but lost everything that mattered when he chose false allure over real sacrifice. Now, he had a son, a community, and a woman whose loyalty and courage had taught him more than any city mentor, any contract, any fleeting luxury could. Gratitude became his guiding principle. Presence, his daily work. Love, his true measure of success. Lika, sitting beside him with Obina leaning against her, whispered, "Village or city, it never mattered. What mattered was who was real when nothing existed. And you, Dara, have learned what it means to recognize real. Never forget it again." Dara nodded, tears streaking his face, the weight of shame and learning mingling with the first taste of redemption. He understood fully now, those who give when nothing is offered are priceless. Those who endure without glamour possess the truest strength. And in that quiet village courtyard, under the same sky that had witnessed his childhood dreams, Dara began again, not as a big man in Lagos, not as a fool chasing glitter, but as a father, a partner, and a man finally attuned to what real life, real love, and real sacrifice demanded. Obina laughed, Lika smiled faintly, and Dara promised silently to never forget. Village or city? The answer was simple: the real always triumphs.